So I have a major worry about this framework.
Okay.
So for me, it's about the functionality.
Okay.
Okay. So he mentioned about you applying early before you get.
Okay.
So what if it's an organization where you're asked to come for interview in 2 days or the following day? That's one part of the day. But then secondly, the commission is only in Abuja. Okay. Someone in Anambra State or someone in Rivers State might want to go for an interview there. So how do they communicate to the commission? Do you understand, in Abuja? Or do we have states?
Only the State Disability Commission that will key into this access to work scheme.
Yes.
Okay, we're not intending to do this in isolation.
Okay.
The commission is not intending to do this just all they do. As a matter of fact, in the next few weeks,
Yes.
the commission will be having a meeting with all the heads of the state disability agencies.
Okay.
This document is part of the communication we want to share with the state disability agency. Remember I told you of the story of Lagos State Office of Affairs, who just distributed assistive devices to PWDs in the states. So it already tells you that some state disability agencies are in the know. They are doing something close to this.
Okay.
So it's not entirely new. So we're going to bring everybody to the table to discuss this, to make sure that they key in. We're going to make sure it gets down as far as even local governments.
Okay.
So because the commission is engaging with Aldon as we speak, signing an MRU with Aldon. The commission has developed what we call the local government stability framework as well.
Okay.
And this scheme is also part of the framework that we did, a part of the things that the commission will be cooperating with local governments to achieve. So across all levels and institutions of government, the commission will be engaging to drive the implementation of this
framework.
So it's not just the commission engaging from Abuja. And also to let you know that the commission is currently opening up its zonal offices.
Beautiful.
They just got one in Abia State for Southeast. When they were returning from that, the TS and the members of the commission had a terrible car crash.
Wow.
Thank God no life was lost.
Thank God for that.
So the offices are springing up, or the commission, the zonal offices, and then we are bringing the state agencies in. Okay, to this in every state disability agency, the commission will have a liaison officer.
Beautiful.
To that collaboration, both horizontal and vertical.
So, Dr. Adibari, to follow
And of course,
On the timeline for the application.
before I get to that, and of course, there will be a committee that will implement this framework, and that committee will drop membership from the commission, the private sector, national development partners, organizations of disabilities, and other stakeholders. Resizable say that will meet regularly to the TOR for them to meet. They are even going to develop their implementation, monitoring all of that. So that will be their first task. Develop modalities for implementing this framework and how to monitor its implementation. So all of this will be put in place. We know there's no perfect system,
of course.
Something with this, and then going to the issue of time frame. In the framework itself, the time frame is clearly indicated as to when you can apply and when you will get a response. Okay, so we will again, as we implement, respond to look at where the flaws are and continue to smoothen the rough edges as we go on. So we have not explored it yet. As we explored it, to identify the areas, shortfalls or gaps, and address it as things go on. But we believe that this is a good way to start and to be work of PWDs who want to work in the formal sector, and of course even those that are self-employed. So long as you can there's evidence to show that yes, you are a self-employed person and you need some assistive aids to make your business, you're also going to be supported under this thing.
Beautiful.
So, Adibari, you mentioned state government you know, also disability, maybe disability board at state level, and disability agency and all of that. So if they are going to participate in this scheme, is it that they are going to make their own budgetary provision and then have, or how are they going to play a role in this in terms of financial? Maybe they're like so enthusiastic, they really want this, they like the idea and they want to participate, not just as giving office or something, but they want to really make financial contribution.
It's a concurrent thing. They don't have to put resources with the national commission. They have the private sector in their state, and when their citizens want to, if they key in and they domesticate this scheme, they can support their citizens to access jobs in their states. All right, but the commission too at national level can also do. The way this is going to help, what we're going to do to manage the duplication, so that we don't have people to apply local government, state government, is that while we are keen in what we are doing with the local governments now is to commence the process of developing the national disability database.
Okay.
Now that database,
You want to start from the local government?
Yes.
I think that's the best way.
That's the easiest way now.
That's the best way.
That's
That's the
their
best.
local government and register. Now they don't have to come to their state capitals or Abuja to do so. They can go straight to their local government. They can do it from the comfort of their homes. Why not?
Why not?
So we are going to align with NIN, NIMC.
Okay.
So once we collect the basic data from NIMC, what we just add is the disability components.
Oh yeah.
You know, they just go and
Update it.
update it in their local government.
Excellent.
When you go there.
Excellent.
Now, part of the data we collect is that everybody has a profile. So if you are benefited from one program or the other from the commission, and of course the data will be shared. State and local governments will have access
To that database.
database. So if they want to support you, if for example my local government has given me wheelchair, it will be indicated there that I got wheelchair at so date at so time from my local government or my state government. So if I want to come to federal to also apply, by the time they key in my details,
You'll see that you're.
oh, I already took so things from so that will qualify me automatically. So that will prevent people from round tripping.
I understand.
You get the idea. So that will help us to manage. So there's what this whole process will be data driven. It will be based on this national disability database. For example, recently we spoke about it to the honorable minister. He was talking about the social register. We told him, look, sir, the social register has its own purpose.
Yeah.
Okay, this one is about the people with abilities purely.
Yeah.
We know, of course, will appear in so many databases. The MEs in education, we are there. The health management information system, we are there.
Yeah.
The social register, we are there. So even the national population commission, they are there. So, but each level, each of this, that even the Bureau of Statistics,
Of
we
course.
are there. But for the national commission, having a national disability database
It's very
the commission
important.
to deliver on its mandates.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So other sectors who might need data from us for specific disability purposes can also come and mine your data
Yes.
following data protocols.
Yes.
So it's going to be data driven, and so it will manage to various minimum the incidences of round tripping and all of those other sharp
Practices.
they know it's not going to be
Easy. All rosy.
but then we try to curtail, minimize.
Yeah. So just to quickly ask, who can apply and benefit
Very
for
important.
this thing?
Is it every person with disability?
Every person with disability that is employed or has been invited for interview.
Both in the public and private sector?
No, only the
Private.
private
Private
sector.
sector. Okay.
So
We don't want to duplicate. Governments have a right, a responsibility
to provide for
provide for their
workers.
For the personnel, yeah.
so, and they can put it in their budgets. We don't want to be creating like that. We don't want to create any crisis, conflicts
Oh yeah.
between government agencies. Okay, they can seek advice from the commission as to when they want to procure assistive aid for their staff and all of that. And they can make express requests. But this scheme was made specifically to encourage private sector employers.
So, but Dr. Adebayo, sorry, Lynn, please, I'm coming. Following up with the question PM Mr. Kilanko just asked now.
Yes.
So, You mentioned the parastatals, government agencies, and all of that. We have the framework now for the national framework or national access to work scheme.
Yes.
For the private sector.
Yes.
I know we have the Act, the Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Prohibition Act, 2018.
Yeah.
So, but the implementation of procuring assistive devices for persons with disabilities within the government sector.
Yes.
How do you now go about that? Because persons in the private sector will be enjoying this, and then is there any mechanism to ensure that persons with disabilities within the public sector have access to?
Ideally, the commission provides assistive technology to PWDs. But what we want to ensure is that you don't just give it out aimlessly. Let it be tied to certain things. Okay? For example, you might be in school and you need assistive devices. You get it? So you can apply. You are employed. You need assistive devices. You can apply. And so we don't want undocumented people. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like I told you, it's going to be data driven. So even if you get now, if for example you are in school and you get, there will going to be a timeline for which you cannot come and if I got a laptop, as a person with disability, there will be a time frame for which I can't come and ask
That's
for
another one.
another one. You get it? If I got a
Expected lifespan of the
you get the idea. You have to show serious justification. Maybe it was stolen or it was heavily damaged, and you have to provide evidence. All right. So all of this, that's why it has to be local.
I agree.
Because you can't be coming to Abuja or your state capital to do all of this. It has to be extremely local. That's why we have to work with Alma to ensure that people can just go to their secretariat, local government secretariat. Oh, my guy can have been damaged. And if they can see that actually if it's damaged, there's a photo evidence and all of that, put it up. And if it's to the state government, if it's to the local government, they are making the demand to, or even the national commission, then you can be enlisted to benefit from the next round of
support the outcome.
So now when it comes to government work as benefit and those with disability working in government, the way government does its budget is that if commission is budgeting for assistive aids, and for example somebody working in the Ministry of Health, which is the PWD, also needs assistive aids, it's either of two things. It's either its ministry will budget and then procure it through the working with the commission. Do you understand? They might need advice from the commission on how to get it, where to get it, the quality and all that. Commission can provide support technically in that area. But we don't want to be fighting agencies about who should procure,
Who shouldn't?
who shouldn't. You get the idea. That's why we left it flexible for employing ministries or MPs to be able to procure directly for their staff. And if they don't want to procure, if they cannot procure for one reason or the other, maybe it's not in their budget, they will need the commission to do so. They can apply to the commission.
Okay.
You get it?
Yeah.
So we don't want it to be embedded in this scheme so that it doesn't become mandatory for commission to procure.
Money is going to commission.
You get the idea?
Yeah. Adebayo, yes. So gradually we are wrapping up, but let me play the devil's advocate a little bit. So because you said that this scheme is to encourage private sector employers.
Absolutely.
But where do we draw the line? So it doesn't look like you are literally begging somebody to employ someone.
No.
Do you understand? When you will employ this person, we're giving you, supporting you with this support, give you material, technical, financial, everything. Like, looks like the person is not qualified. You just want to, you are literally begging the person to employ someone. So where do you draw the line between encouragement and literally begging someone to employ someone?
The point is, I'm just giving a scenario.
Okay.
Earlier that if I qualify as a therapist, they don't say they have to take me
Okay.
because I score the highest. There may be other criteria they are looking at. You get it? Even here in town, the job may not always go to the highest scorer. There may be some other policies that highest scorer does not have, and the person next to him or other people are. And you prioritize that quality than even just the academic score. So what we are saying in essence is that you see people can hide under a lot of fakes, and you can't query them. They always justify why they didn't take it. But you and I know that part of it will always be this high cost.
That's true.
Yes,
That's
yes.
true.
And private people want to get profit. They don't
Exactly.
want,
They are
in
out
as
to
much as
make profit,
they
actually.
they will not outrightly tell you they are discriminating against you. They might even provide the enabling environment for you to participate well in the interview and the process.
And they say we'll get back
But
to
they
you.
won't,
Get back to you.
We'll get back to you.
So, but in terms of, if there are situations where we've had, for example, people with abilities doing well in interview, there are many ways of doing interview now. They can do virtually. They only want to do a PWD. And then you show up.
Show up.
And they say, we can't take you.
Yeah.
Why? We don't have the, they don't tell you all the, we don't have the equipment, we don't have the this, we don't have the that. So that's what government is trying to remove gradually. Do you understand what I'm saying? They want to reconstruct their building. There are certain mandatory statutory requirements they too must fulfill.
Yes.
Like if they have a building, they must make sure their buildings are accessible.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is no government will do that for them. They must do certain things. But there are other things too that we have to do to incentivize the employment of PWDs by the private sector.
Exactly.
For government, that one is compulsory.
Yeah.
You say 5% of your workforce.
Must be.
And the commission is already implementing that most recruiters now, you try to fill that gap,
Okay.
from the government side.
I
You
understand.
understand? But private sector, what do want to do? They are business to do, and they're looking at costs.
Yeah.
They're looking at costs.
So speaking on this private sector people,
Yeah.
what strategy do you have in place to popularize this scheme,
Especially at the state level.
especially at state level? Because we need to let people
Yes,
know
no,
that
the
this
private sector
thing
employers.
is here. If you want to employ persons with disability, you can get funds to assist.
Okay, so one of the strategies what you are doing here, I believe this will go viral. Everybody,
Yes.
so that's one. The other part is that the private sector, and that's very beautiful. They are also organizing themselves
Okay.
in the on disability issue now. There is a network they call Nigeria Business Diversity Network.
Okay.
Put together by the private sector they as themselves.
Oh,
So you can see they are now becoming very sensitive.
beautiful. That's good.
Many of them, especially those who have multinationals among them, from their parent
Headquarters.
they're already talking about diversity, inclusion, non-discrimination, blah, blah, blah.
And Access Bank is actually chairing, right?
Yes, Access Bank is boring child.
We are looking, but we
So
are
MTN is there, Unilever is there, Standard Chartered Bank is
a
there,
big one.
Sterling Bank, and all, name them, Total and so on, they're all there. So they're organizing themselves already, and they have the forum. And we are not just stopping at that, we are also engaging other BMOs like NECA. The event was held
At NECA's
facility of
compound.
NECA. That's Nigeria Employers
Consultative Association.
Yeah.
They were there. We brought in Chamber of Commerce. We brought in Nigeria Institute of Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, which is the body that regulates issue of HR. Those are in charge of recruitment.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you see, so we've targeted the key players. All right, and very soon the commission is going to engage with all HR directors in civil service and most MDs to sensitize them on this and other policies that the commission have. So there's that, and then the OPDs themselves. That advocacy is their major task. I remember I said it on the day of the launching. So that they have a big role to play. So we shouldn't just say well, OPDs, nothing about all that. Now the policies are coming out. It's our responsibility as OPDs to push this across.
Yeah.
Joint National Association of Persons with Disabilities, for example, has affiliate associations.
Yes.
At national and state level, we have association of the blind, of the deaf,
Yes.
of people with physical disabilities.
That's what we have been with things, yeah. Deaf, blind, F1.
All of that. So we expect these associations to champion, to carry these opportunities and run with it. Okay, so everybody has a role to play. They also engage the media at some point. Everybody has strategic engagement with the media. So you see, I don't see a reason why we should be having Twitter dialogues,
Yeah.
Twitter conferences,
Yeah.
all those kinds of things. Now to push all these ideas across the present and breadth of the country. So we as OPDs, as non-governmentals, we also have a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
And some of these things don't always cost a lot of money.
Right.
Okay, especially when you use the internet.
Oh.
All right, so the more we very strategic and innovative in the way we conduct advocacy. This is one they are doing now with this podcast. The distance it can cover is unimaginable.
Yes, of
All right,
course,
so
of course.
the days of those gathering people in the hall, it's not completely over,
Adi.
but we should make use of the internet.
Yes.
So I think that's just the way we can push this across. The government is doing what they should do. The TAP is involved in this as an OBD and a big player in the process. So it's the other stakeholders need to then run with this whole product. The value across.
You just support what you said, Dr. Adebayo, that recruiting persons with disabilities is purely on merit in the private sector. Just so that people don't think that, I said, we're not begging you to employ, we're trying to encourage you, and we're not. So, Dr. Adebayo, let me run through the mind, let me go through the mind of a person with disability probably watching this. Yeah. If I want to apply as a person with disability, I want to apply to enjoy some of the support, either financial or material. What is the process? That is, if the process is already laid out, I would like to know the process because that's the common thing.
Yeah.
Okay, the committee that is in charge of the commission or the commission, I don't know how they want to do it. I don't want to present.
Only it's not laid out.
No, no, it's in some part of it. It's in the framework.
The framework.
Okay.
But you see, there has to be a call that okay, then maybe it's twice in a year you're going to have a call. You understand? By the committee or the commission, say please, or it could be just as you want. You understand what I'm saying? But anybody can have an interview, and we don't want to wait until the call is made. So the committee will decide all of this. You understand what I'm saying? They are going to expand on the guidelines.
Yes.
To say okay, anybody who needs the whatever can just put up an application, and the review will quickly be done and all of that. So because if you say it has a choice, all people have interviews or get employment in between those periods.
Yes.
So the committee will sit down, and I told you one of their first tasks when the ES inaugurates the committee is to put up an implementation plan, which of course some part of it will be drawn from the framework itself, and all of that. So there'll be a process that put together that shared with the public as well, for people to know when and how to apply, and of course the process is embedded with aspirants, and there is room for grievance resolution. So in case you feel, how about this, I didn't get it, or maybe there was a mix up somewhere, and all of those things, people can seek redress, not in court, by exploring the grievance resolution mechanisms that's embedded in the framework, in the framework, in the access work framework as well.
Dr. Adebayo, I was already calculating how after this podcast I'll just go and apply for prosthetics for my hand.
The committee has not been set up.
So that is what I'm saying. Now that you
set
set
up
the
the
committee,
committee,
so I have to like slow down.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, the target is the commission is hoping that by June latest, the first set of beneficiaries should have received their assistive devices.
Okay, we're wrapping up. Dr. Adebayo, it's still a beautiful conversation with you. But then if you had to describe the framework in 3 words, what would it be?
It's apt, it's timely,
Apt,
it's strategic.
Fantastic.
And being a key player in the development of this framework, what was the most challenging moment for you?
Challenging.
Yes.
I'm told to solve my problem. Because I solved my own problem.
So even if it was a challenge, you take it as
No, I didn't even say any challenge. It's the prospect I was seeing all through. For me, there was no problem at all. And because you see, we've been to many countries and we see how things work. We just lay the wheel on government, and I mean, we just got it on the platter of both.
yeah, government is willing now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. Like, I've learned a lot myself because there are a lot of confusion when I read the framework. I was borderline confused. There tends to be clarifications. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And to my buddies, thank you, Uncle, Mr. Josh. See you up.
Yes.
So, to our beloved listeners, this access to Work Scheme for Persons with Disabilities is available for download on our website. Visit tapafrica.co. So www.tapafrica.ca. Download, read, digest,
Well, share.
and share. Most
And
importantly,
share, yes.
as a private sector employer, as a person with disability, as a person without disability is very important. So please don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms as displayed on the screen. And subscribe to our YouTube channel on all our streaming platforms, because we'll have lots of content coming from nowhere here. We're
Yes.
here to empower persons with disabilities. We're here to amplify their voices.
Yes.
We're here to make sure that you give disabled accommodation to the people.
And we had
Yes, sir.
to have fun too.
Yes, they have to have fun.
Thank you so much. See you on our next episode. Bye.